things can look pretty depressing. There are like 200 nation states out there, billions of people involved in the business of coercing others, and they figured out how to use technology to kill us from afar and how to watch our every move. Understanding our situation can rightfully leave us in fear, and I think this awareness weighs heavily on a lot of us free folk. But there is a way out of this negative mindset, and we don't even have to overthrow the state to achieve it. All we have to do is learn how to control our attention. You see, our attention guides our perception of reality. What we focus on determines our experience. When we focus our attention on coercion, what we see is coercion. I think this is the double-edged sword of our awareness of aggression. We need to be able to recognize evil in order to fight it, but now that I know how to look for evil, I do look for it, and I see it all over the place. But seeing coercion all the time isn't a fun way to live, and it's not representative of the real world either. I have to be aware of my selection bias and counteract it by focusing my attention on what's actually happening around me. When I step back and examine my immediate surroundings, very rarely do I witness any aggression. Coercion is an outlier. Of course, the state's aggression is systemic, and the threat is always there, but I believe we need to learn to deal with the threats when they are present and forget the state as much as possible in between. We must learn to see that the government only exists in temporary coercive zones, little bubbles of statism that surround cops and judges and other government employees. But for the most part, the world is free and open. I believe anarchy is a form of meditation. It's not a type of society or a place on earth, and it never lasts for more than a moment. Anarchy exists only in the present, never stretching into the fourth dimension. Moments of anarchy are like singular points of light, little supernovas of freedom that only last for a second. Moments of anarchy are beautiful to behold, but there's no point trying to sustain them. We must learn to simply enjoy the ride. Now that I know how to look for them, I see people riding moments of anarchy all over the place. And it's contagious. Kids and dogs especially know how to enjoy moments of freedom. And it's hard not to feel freer myself when I watch a dog playing or a child learning. But somehow, many of the brightest humans, those most aware of the suffering around them, have forgotten how to live in the moment. By focusing on the past, future, and distant suffering of others, we inflict suffering on ourselves. This suffering is also contagious. To free ourselves and those around us, we must practice anarchy by immersing ourselves in moments of freedom. With this perspective, I see a free world and a bright future. Thanks. So, any questions either about living in the moment or living in the woods? Yeah.
So one thing I think about living in the moment is that if we're not, then we cannot fear, right? To be in the moment is fear is not possible, right?
Sure.
And
I think fear is kind of the foundation of the state. So if we can focus on the moment and get more people to do so, the state will just dissolve.
Yeah. So you began with attention, and it was a lot was about that. I'm wondering what experiences you have day to day or whatever that are where you see that out there amongst your friends, amongst everybody.
Sure. So I'll tie it to living in the woods. Like when I wake up out there and I just hear the birds chirping and get to look around at the flowers in the forest, and it really helps me stay present in the moment and really experiencing what's going on around me rather than worrying about, what's going to happen later on that day or what happened yesterday or anything like that. So that's one of the ways. And conversations like this, I think we're all kind of bouncing ideas off of each other in a kind of free-flowing manner, so we're definitely helping each other to live in the moment, and I think that's one of the ways we can push forward. She was first back there.
Well, I really like what you had to say, and I agree with it.
Thanks.
I love it. That's right. But still, there's also the idea that if you want to change things, sometimes you have to galvanize, and I don't know how to reconcile those two things. But like, for example, if you're anti-war, is there any, sometimes, or like Occupy or other kinds of movements, sometimes movements have to be planned and created in order to show an idea. And so like...
Yeah, that is hard to, two ideas that are hard to reconcile, I think. And I don't know, ways I've kind of tried to push that direction is through organizations, just with friends, and like having little mini parties, where we discuss lots of these ideas and we get together, and they're kind of planned ahead of time. I'm not sure the best way to go about organizing on a large scale. Me and my friend Jared have been talking about the New Hampshire liberty movement where they're trying to get a bunch of people to move up there, and it's kind of this organized, like large-scale action. And I'm personally kind of skeptical about it, but I don't know what the best way is. So I don't know. I think a combination, I guess, is the most appropriate way, maybe. You have a question?
I know we have a large homeless population. A lot of them are drug dealers, drug addicts, and alcoholics, and thieves. Are you putting yourself in that situation?
I mean, I'm none of those things personally. I earn my money through voluntary trade. I'm a dog walker, so I avoid
How are you dealing with that
taxation.
element that you're camping with?
For the
or maybe
most
camping
part,
near
I have
security of your products or your assets.
Sure. We haven't had anything stolen out there. I've been in the Austin woods for 3 months, and for 6 months before that, I was living on U of H land down in Houston, and never had anything stolen that entire time. So, I mean, we use like a long path to kind of separate us from the rest of, I guess, civilization. And a lot of the maybe more criminal elements of the homeless population, they're pretty lazy, so they don't go out into the woods very deep. A lot of them either go under bridges. And I mean, I try not to judge them. I've met a lot of them, and most of the time they're really cool people. I actually haven't really met any that even, struck me as very immoral or anything like that. So I think they do get a bad rap a little bit, and but I'm sure there are plenty of them out there that, and a lot of them are driven to it out of, I mean, not necessity, but maybe they don't understand other ways they could interact with society, and they kind of feel lost, so they rely on more criminal enterprises. But I think it's probably less than you might imagine are actually criminal. I think a lot of them are just down on their luck, and also there's the laziness part, but I don't know. It's a diverse crowd, that's one thing that's for sure. And there's lots of them, like you said, so I encourage everybody to go out and meet some homeless people. They're pretty cool people for the most part. Any other questions? All right. Oh, yeah.
I lived in the woods down on Riverside for 2 years.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Over next to on Faro, like I'm on.
Well, it was right down the street past Riverside and Pleasant Valley.
Okay, I'm right in that area.
And I walked through the woods, and how I did it was put a 5-gallon buckets. I would dug me a hole, put the 5-gallon bucket down in there, and then I'd cover it up with a piece of wood, then I'd put some dirt on top of it. In the morning,
for storing your valuables?
Yes.
That's really smart, yeah. People very rarely dig in the earth for valuables.
I worked 7 days a week too.
What's that?
So, I mean.
She worked 7 days a week or so.
Oh, yeah. That's
Cause
awesome.
I knew people were looking for me, and I didn't want them to find me.
Sounds
So
like you did a good
they
job.
didn't expect me to find me there, only because they'd got me before, in an apartment, So I figured, well, they won't get me this time.
There you go. There's definitely security in the woods.
And I lived in the caverns too.
That's pretty cool. Haven't tried that yet.
And a waterproof tent.
Nice. Yeah, tents are awesome.
Where are the cameras?
It's down near the green belt. You go way down, you walk past there's all kind of critters down there.
That is one of the negative side effects. Mosquitoes and everything. But yeah. Any other questions? All right. I guess I'll pass it on.